Hello viewers, welcome back to another beautiful tutorial on Zion Creativity TV. Today's tutorial is on how to draft a simple kaftan with a side slit and an elastic band sleeve with a hood. I promise you it's going to be very interesting. Kindly stay tuned. I already folded my fabric into four for both the front and the back bodies, and that is my starting point. So the shoulder measurement I'll be working with is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2, that gives me 7.5. Then I need to add half-inch seam allowance, making 8 inches. And I marked 8 inches for the shoulder measurement. For the neckline, I made use of 3.5 inches for the width, then 1.5 inches for the neck depth for the back bodies. It's going to be a V. So for the front body's depth, I used 7 inches. I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Just mark it, then you slant with your ruler. Also cup your neckline. The next thing is for us to mark the chest line, and to get the chest line, you divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5. So after dividing, I got 8 inches. Then you mark your 8 inches. That will serve as the chest line. So that's that same 8 inches that you had at the shoulder. You just mark it down and then you connect the line together. So this is me marking the chest line after getting 8 inches for the chest line. Bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So the next thing is to insert the bust measurement. The bust measurement is 40 divided by 4. That gives me 10. I added 1 inch ease allowance and another 1 inch for hemming allowance. Next, the waistline. So from the shoulder level, the waistline is 17 inches. I marked the 17 inches. For the hip line, it's 26 inches. I also marked the 26 inches. One has to be very careful when working with soft fabric like this. So for the waist circumference, the waist I'm working with is 34 inches divided by 2. That gives me 8.5. So I mark the 8.5 inches plus 1 inch is allowance and 1 inch seam allowance. For the hip is 44 inches divided by 2, 11. 1 inch is allowance and another 1 inch for seam allowance. Then we connect it together. So the total measurement of whatever you have at the hip line, that is what you mark on the hem line. So the total measurement is 13 inches. So I'll just mark the 13 inches down to the hem line. because it's going to have slit on both sides, so we don't need to add excess allowance to the hemline. So whatever you have at the hip line, the total amount of what you have at the hip line, you just mark it down straight to the hemline, then you connect it together. Coming back to the armhole, I forgot to do that earlier. Look for the midpoint of the armhole. After the slant, the midpoint is 4 inches. Just mark 4 inches. Then you come in by ½ inch. That will serve as the front bodies. Connect the line and make a curve. Now we can now cut. Please do not forget to add ½ inch seam allowance for the joining at the shoulder. We'll first cut it straight down this way because of the back bodies, then later we'll trim off the excess on the front bodies. Now at the bust line, I don't want the allowance to be the ease allowance, I don't want it to be too much, so I adjusted it and just add ½ inch instead of the 1 inch ease allowance. I believe you understand me. After the exact measurements, after the bust measurements, I added ½ inch ease allowance and 1 inch seam allowance. So I'm done with my cutting. Now remember we used 7 inches for the front depth because it's going to be a v-neck. So I'll just cut it out. Then I want to trim off the front armhole excess. You have to be careful when working with such fabric. I need to cut the facing for the front neckline, and the facing won't be turned inside, it will be turned outside. It will serve as a design on the chest, and I folded my fabric into two and placed the front bodies on the fabric. Then I will have to trace out the neckline and do other markings according to whatever design I want. So I've traced and cut the neckline and also the shoulder. The next thing is for me to determine the length of my facing, and I decided to use 18 inches. I marked 18 inches. For the width, I used 3 inches. So I marked 3 inches and I marked it up to a certain level. Then I came up to the shoulder and decided to mark 3.5 inches. I marked 3.5 inches, I just shaped it the way I want. So you can decide to design your own the way you want. This is the facing, and I will have to add interface to it to give it a hold before placing it on the chest line. So you can see there's a difference after adding the interface. The next thing is to sew the facing on the front bodies, and to do that you have to place the front bodies on the wrong side while the facing will be on the right side. That means right side facing wrong side. Then you sew the v-neck. After that you turn it to the right side. So I'm done doing that, and this is it. This is the right side. This is my facing, and I've already joined the back bodies to the front bodies. So after this, I'll just fold in the edges of the facing by 1/4 inch, then top stitch. I've already pinned it down. I pinned it down. Then I would like to add a tassel. So this is it, and that is where I'll insert it. So I'm done top stitching, and this is how it looks. We're almost done. You can see it's so nice. To cut the sleeve for the beautiful kaftan, I folded the fabric into two, and I made use of 27 inches for the sleeve length. Then from the starting point, I marked 4.5 inches for the bicep line, and I connected it together. After that, from the folded edge, I have to come in by the same 4.5 inches and mark. So between those two lines, I have to look for the midpoint. That is it, and I marked it. On that midpoint, try and make a curve to the folded edge. Then you also shape it down. Whatever your armhole is, measure it and mark it. The armhole I'm working with is 10 inches. Because it's a kaftan and I want the armhole to be loose, I added 1 inch is allowance and another 1 inch seam allowance, making 12 inches. At the sleeve hem, the wrist measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 will be 4 inches. Then I added elastic allowance of 5 inches. So that will give me 9 inches. Then just connect it. Back to the main bodies, I need the neckline measurement to cut my hood, and you realize I did not add facing to the back neckline. That is where the hood will stand, and a little part of the front V shape the hood will start from that place. That was why I left 4 inches on both sides. So I'll just measure the 4 inches round to the back and back to the front. So you can decide to just fold it together like so. Then you measure. So the total of what I have here is 9 inches. If it's not unfold, that will give me 18 inches. So 18 inches is what I need for my wood measurement. That is my starting point. And to get the length of my wood, you can decide to measure yourself from one neckline point up to your head round down to the other neckline. So basically you can use 15 inches. 15 inches is okay. Some can decide to use more than that, but at least 15 inches for an adult. So I marked my 15 inches for the length of the hood. And after that, remember my neckline measurement is 9 inches on fold. So you just have to mark that 9 inches and connect it to the 15 inches. So in short, the measurement is 15 inches by 9 inches. After that, you can just come down by 3 inches. That will serve as the top, as the head side. So you just come down by 3 inches and make it. No specific measurement for that. Even without coming down by 3 inches, just try and make a curve because that is where the head will rest in. After that, we need to add a joining allowance of 1 inch. We'll be using half inch on both sides to seal the wood together. So just mark your 1 inch round. After adding the seam allowance, just come down to the neckline because this particular area is neckline. You go in by 1 inch because we don't want the neckline to be straight. Because the neckline is not straight, so this place too won't be straight. We just went in by 1 inch, then you slant. At the end of the day, you still get your 9 inches. So when you want to go in by that 1 inch, you have to start from the exact measurement. You don't start from the allowance. I believe you get what I'm saying. So cutting a hood is as simple as this. But if you want excess fabric at the skull area, you just add some allowances and make a kind of curve from the up, the head down to the neckline. Since the fabric is unfolded, we need to slit it into two. Then we cut another piece, making 4 pieces. These are the 4 pieces, so we have to go ahead and join 2 pieces each together. Our dress is almost ready. So remember we said it's going to have slit on both sides. And I made use of 21 inches for the slits. It's open enough, but if you feel like you want more, you can try to add more than that. So I folded it and also folded the edge too, the hemline rather. Here's the sleeve, and I folded the hem by 1.5 inches. To cut the elastic, I have to measure the wrist, and the wrist measurement is 8 inches. So you have to cut elastic of 8 inches. So cut to 8 inches for both sleeve. The next thing is just to insert the elastic into the sleeve, and I'll make use of my safety pin. Then you begin to insert it. You have to be careful not to allow the elastic to fall inside. So we need to secure it with a pin on both sides. Pin it down so that it will not go inside. After inserting the elastic, the next thing is for us to just fold together, then sew it down with 1 inch. Just use 1 inch down for both sleeve, and that will be all for the sleeve. The sleeve has been fixed to the main body, and this is how it's looking. And finally, we'll have to join the hood to the main bodies. So here is my hood, both pieces. I'll look for the joining of both pieces, then you just join it together. So this is both right side, and that is the midpoint. Both midpoints, you join it together. Although you have to turn it to the wrong side to join. You have to seal all that place. Straight up, then down again. Fold the main bodies into two, then notch the center back. After notching the center back, I'll just have to pin down both the center hood and the center back before sewing. After pinning it together, just sew it around, and that will be all for the hood. Our kaftan hoodie is ready. This is how it looks. So easy to cut and to sew. If you found this tutorial so helpful, please do not forget to leave a comment. We'd like to know your thoughts. And if you are just joining us for the first time, we'd like you to subscribe, like, and to share. Till I come your way next time, thank you so much. Love you.